All right, what's up, guys? Welcome to Definitely Random. My name is Nick, host of the show. I'm sitting here with my co-host Eric.
Hey guys, I'm Eric. Welcome to the podcast with hot takes and even hotter hosts. I hope you enjoy listening to us.
Yeah, so just kind of jumping right in. We're gonna talk about us, who we are, why we decided to do this, and find out the dynamics of what's going on in our mind. So, like I said, my name's Nick. And I think it was just on a whim, if I do dare say so, that we decided to start this podcast.
Yeah, well, we had actually talked about it for a while and finally got the ball rolling on starting it. And yeah, just wanting an outlet to get our thoughts out there. And
yeah, a creative outlet, as some scholars would say. Not me, not scholars.
I'm not a scientist.
Yeah, I'm no rocket scientist. But how we met, who are we? I actually met Eric here.
In college? Freshman year?
College freshman year.
During orientation. We didn't know each other starting off, but we had a mutual friend who, I was with our mutual friend. We were going to orientation to our university's gym where they had all the freshmen. And he just introduced me. And then since day one, since that day, he just kind of stuck to me like glue. Like a gum on your shoe. But yeah, I think we hit it off pretty good. And like I said, from the start, we've just been hanging out and talking since and known each other for like 5
That was 2017.
2017.
So what are we, 2023? That's 6 years?
6 years.
This year would be 6.
Dang,
so it's our 6-year anniversary. We're kind of getting pretty serious with each other. That's fun, yeah. And it's actually funny because our mutual friend, I've known him since elementary. It just so happened that he went to a different high school, which is where Eric went. Different high school than I did. And we're all from the same hometown, but me and Eric, actually all of us, live in San Antonio now. So it's kind of funny how the world works. And now me and Eric are real good buddies, good old pals. And
he was a groomsman in my wedding, and then I'll be one in his.
Which is fun, which is a fun time, which honestly, bouncing on that, I didn't expect to be a groomsman in your wedding. I didn't know that was going to happen. Like, I knew we were friends, and I knew we were like, oh yeah, he's a good pal. And, we got classes together because we were both in College of Business at UTSA. So, I mean, that was cool. But by left field, I did not think
Well, it's just like one of those things I told Sam when I was deciding, because I needed an extra groomsman. I think I had 5 groomsmen. I had my 4. I didn't know who to get my 5th. And I started thinking about it. I'm like, well, actually, I really, me and Nick click. I like the guy. He's cool. Let me have him as my groomsman. I think I can see us getting in a relationship and, having it go on a long time. And, I mean, it's proven true because we've known each other for 6 years now. So, yeah, I mean, I just kind of knew it was like one of those things like love at first sight.
Yeah. And listening now, everyone's just up to this point, 3 minutes in, they're like, these guys are dating. The way they talk about each other.
I mean, we practically are.
It's kind of just the way it rolls around here. Mm-hmm. But that was like, what, 2 years into knowing you?
About, yeah. But
it was 2017, because when did you get married? 2019?
I got married
Or 2018, the end of 2018?
No, it was 2019.
Was it 2019?
Yeah, it was 2019. We met each other 2017, so.
It was like a year and a half.
About,
really? Because, orientation was in
August?
No, it was July.
July? Oh.
I think June or July.
I don't know, I've been 2 years out of school. I don't know.
Yeah, it's a wild time. But, also COVID. COVID really messed up. I don't know for you, but it messed up my timeline of just life.
All those years are just kind of just meshed into one. Sometimes I forget how old I am.
Honestly, and I'm speaking quite literally, I felt one day I was 21. I had just turned 21. And then 2 months later, COVID happened. And then I come back, graduate college, and things are semi-normal. There's restrictions, but semi-normal. And all of a sudden, I'm turning 23. Yeah. And I'm just like...
It really messed up our early, prime years. I mean, not to say we're not in prime years. We're both still pretty young, but still, our earlier...
I had envisioned those 2 years going a lot different than what they were.
I think most of us did.
Not to say I didn't have fun. I mean, it was a good time. Looking back at it, I was kind of a degenerate, which still am, but I was really bad. I should have been more productive during that time.
Yeah.
But it was...
No, I 100% was not productive. during that time.
Yeah,
whatsoever.
some people I see on TikTok, for the most part, most people were degenerates like us. But there were some that were like, oh, I did whatever. I got my training certificates and I actually did all this stuff. And now I'm making six figures as
I had tried. I mean, I wasn't going that far of like getting any certifications or starting a business or anything like that. But I did try learning the guitar because I played guitar when I was younger. Tried learning it again, and I was actually pretty good with it. I kept on for a couple of months, and then just slowly, like all other things, just kind of dropped it. And I still have the guitar, but yeah, I mean, I was getting kind of decent. I wouldn't say I was good by any definition, but I don't know, I was just trying to learn, trying to make that time productive as much as I could,
right.
But it did not work out.
Yeah, no, I get that. And was it acoustic?
Yeah, it was an acoustic. I still have it there.
See, my first guitar was acoustic, but that was when I was like in 5th grade. And then I got an electric guitar, and I got it. I don't even know. Oh, you know what? I got it because my friend was moving out of his house, and they were getting rid of junk, and he didn't want it. So I got a free electric guitar.
Ooh.
I think it was only worth like $200. So I mean, it's nothing crazy. I think it's called a Starcaster. Maybe it's not even worth that. I'm not good with musical instruments, but it's a decent guitar. And on it, I learned to play. What is it called? She Will Be Loved. Like dun 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 dun. That's all I know though. Like those like 7 notes, and then Seven Nation Army.
Oh, I think everybody knows
dude, that one's like that was the first one I learned.
Yeah, it's an easy riff.
Yeah, that was the first one I learned. That was fun. But yeah, that was pre-COVID. I don't even know. And then during COVID, I didn't do anything with it. Like, I actually don't even know where it is now. I think my buddy has it. But that was fun.
I still have mine in the hopes of
you're like
picking back up. One day I'll pick that back up.
One day I'll be like Josh Turner.
Well, it's because like I said, I played guitar when I was younger. I started with an acoustic. Same thing. Played it for a couple of months, and then from there I kind of dropped it. And then later on, a couple years later, I picked up an electric guitar. It was a nice BC Rich guitar, and I played that for a while. Played a little less than a year, and then again, same thing, dropped that. And then now I picked it back up. I'm like, hey, eventually I'm gonna pick up the guitar again. So I'm not gonna sell it this time. I'm just wasting money. I'm gonna keep it. And I'm gonna pick it back up at some point.
But yet, you haven't.
Not yet.
So what you're saying is we need to start a band.
Soon. Well, I'm going to play at your wedding. I don't know. It's going to be a surprise, but now...
Oh.
Yeah. I mean, I can play like Mary Had a Little Lamb, or I can play Seven Nation Army.
I mean, the way my bank account works, my checking...
I'll do it for free. I'm going to play your wedding.
Wow. So the way that the airline works, flying you out there, I don't think you're not gonna make it in time for the ceremony reception. It's just a whole mess. You're
gonna call the airline, say that I got something on my guitar, and for me not to.
Yeah, I'm gonna call it in. This guy's being real suspicious. That's cool, man. That's cool. But yeah, that's I kind of drifted off there, but that's us. That's us, as you can see. Fun times, and. Here we are, 2023. Time has changed, and we're actually filming this. Filming? Is it still filming or recording? I guess because we're not filming. We're recording this.
We're recording.
Yeah, we're recording this in a meeting room because we're degenerates and we don't have the studio equipment.
We all start somewhere. Eventually,
humble beginnings.
If you guys want to listen to us long enough, eventually. This production will get a lot better.
Eventually, I will be on HBO with my own documentary, and you won't be there because obviously I'm going to be better than you.
That's facts. I'm going to be his supporting person. I'm going to be bringing him water.
You're going to be my groupie.
Yeah, I'm basically.
You're basically my groupie.
As long as I get to go places for free, I mean, I don't really care. I can't complain.
I mean,
I'll do what groupies do. I'll do whatever I have to.
Who would you be a groupie for? A celebrity.
What celebrity? Ooh, I don't know. That's kind of tough. Probably Drake, and that's gonna be such like a.
That's such like a fanboy.
Yeah, fanboy. It's very common. I feel like a lot of people would say that, but like rap wise, I guess like Drake. For rock, probably like Guns N' Roses. I'd do anything for Slash. Anything to Slash.
Pause.
No pause.
I feel like Drake's. I feel like that'd be a hot answer, right? but I feel as of lately, I'd say within the past like 6 months, I'm thinking people are saying Pedro Pascal.
Ooh.
And I'm thinking they're saying Bad Bunny.
Pedro's daddy, you know that?
He has said it. He is daddy.
I mean, I read comments and everyone agrees, and I have to say so myself. I mean, I kind of agree. He's daddy. You know, he's from San Antonio.
Well, I mean, kind of. He lived here for a while.
Yeah.
He's not from here. He's from Chile. Chile.
Yeah. He's from Chile, but he lived here for a while. And I don't know if you had seen like any videos from him recently, but they asked him who has better breakfast tacos, Austin
or San Antonio, and he said San Antonio.
Bro, I felt so happy.
That's a no-brainer. I know.
There's a lot of people who say, "Oh, Austin has the best tacos," and that is by far like the worst thing.
So I feel like in each city, there's going to be obviously like food trucks or a little hole-in-the-wall, family-run, taco places. In each city, given. But if you're talking generally speaking, who do you think would have the best tacos? I'm going San Antonio.
Yeah.
Not to say there's like a mom and pop shop or a food truck in Austin that's like blows you away.
I've yet to see it.
I've yet to try it. I mean, I've tried a couple. I'm not going to say I've tried a lot in Austin. I don't really go there that much, but I've tried about 2 or 3. And they're great. They're good. But if you're asking me, would I drive all the way to Austin for those tacos?
No.
I would say no. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now, on the flip side of that, I'm also not saying that if the tables were turned, would I drive all the way to San Antonio for tacos? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's like, is there anything really outstanding in Austin, from my point of view, to go over there? No. But also, generally speaking, I would still go San Antonio. I feel like the culture's just here.
If you want to spend $10 for a mid taco that's like small and everything, go to Austin. I mean, go ahead.
I mean, if
you got the money like that, then go for it.
If you just don't want to be satisfied in what you're putting into your mouth, then just go to Austin, because that's where you'll find that,
Yeah, well, you would know what satisfies me.
And now a break for our sponsors. But yeah, no, Pedro Pascal, I feel like people would say that nowadays. I feel like he's a hype because of The Walking Dead.
No.
Oh my gosh.
Wrong show. The Last of Us.
The Last of Us.
You finally finished it, right?
I did finish it. What'd you think?
I'm a big fan of the games.
Well, so I was going to ask, have you played the game?
Yeah, okay. I've played the games, and I've played part 1 and part 2. Big fan of both, which, I mean, some people won't agree for the second part, but I loved both games. And I was going into the show pretty critical, and because I had high expectations for it. And to be completely honest, I did think that the show met my expectations.
It did or did not?
It did.
Okay. I agree. I'll start off. I agree. I think it did everything. If you're comparing it to the game, and it's been a while, I've just recently started to replay the game. So I'm not very far into it, but from what I had remembered, it's pretty spot on to how the game is. And they changed a few things for theatrics, obviously.
Yeah, exactly. It's a show
game.
You have different timelines or amounts of time.
You kind of got to extend it in a way, because in the game, you're doing a playthrough that could take you, hours. You know what I mean? Rather than a show where you want to do
45 minutes each episode.
Exactly. And you're trying to extend it anyway.
Yeah.
But for what it was, and I thought it was great. I agree. I thought it was really good. And there's a lot of similarities, and they almost got it like on point with some things. Like they were exactly how the game is.
Yeah. And I think that was so great. It's like they kept really close to the source material, but they also made the show their own, because there was quite a bit of differences, but that made it unique. That made you like, okay, I'm not just watching the game all over again. Like I'm watching the same story, but going about it a slightly different way.
Right.
So it was kind of refreshing at certain points, because I don't even know what's going on. They elaborated on this character, or they decided to show more emotion through going this route or whatever. Just their storytelling was just really good on both ends. The one thing though I will say is, initially, I was on the fence about the actress who played Ellie. What's her name? Bella Ramsey?
Bella Ramsey. A lot of people were. That was was for the first 3 episodes. People were really on them. On her, I would say. I'm sorry.
My
And why is
coworkers
that?
too.
Why is that? From your point of view, not speaking on anyone or what you've read, but what were you thinking? Why were you on the fence?
Initially, and I don't know, maybe this is just me, maybe other people would agree, but the first thing was just like her looks. Like, not in a bad way, but like Pedro Pascal, I can kind of see him as Joel a little bit. But Ellie, like, they just look like completely different people. And I don't know, part of me, like I said, I had a certain expectation for the show, and I had a hope that they would get an actress that looked a lot more similar to Ellie.
Right, maybe not identical, but
Yeah,
but
not
I see what you're saying.
You know, like Pedro doesn't look like Joel, but they look similar, especially like the way they did like their costume design and everything. But for Bella, I was hoping that they would get someone that looked a little more similar. And then I felt like her acting in the start of the show was maybe trying a little too hard to be like Ellie. But as the show went on, and again, this might just be completely me, but as the show went on, she really grew into the character, and I can really believe her as Ellie. And I grew to love her as Ellie.
Really?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
love her as Ellie? Because, like, I think she's like 14 or 13.
You wearing a wire?
Wait, pause. No, yeah, I don't know. I kind of liked her from the beginning as an actress.
Mm-hmm.
I saw a lot of heat on her, and I guess right off the bat, I did see how she wasn't, like, she didn't look like her. Physically, you were like, okay, these characters kind of look different. But, kind of like you said, as the show progressed, and I say progressed, even in the first few episodes, and when they really started, was it like episode 3 or 4, where it was just Ellie?
Yeah.
I thought it was pretty great. Like, she really grew into it and kind of took over the role. And so I liked her. I liked her as Ellie. And Joel, I don't know what Pedro is all about, but like day one, I think he just killed it.
Yeah,
like,
he nailed it.
As soon as, like, first episode, and like just, you know, his acting and like his demeanor and his, like, just physically too.
Yeah.
I mean, physically how he looked, kind of like that scruffy tough guy type. You know what I mean? I was just like, yeah, this is him. Like, he's him. You know what I mean? Like, you've convinced me, like, that's Joel. Like,
exactly. No, and I completely agree, because I feel like he really captured Joel's emotions from the game. Like, he captured it very well, and just his body language, how he acts with Ellie, like his interactions with other people, like, everything was captured perfectly. And yeah, he did an amazing job from the start.
Yeah, which is great. And I thought it was kind of funny. And I know there's not too much of a correlation, but I thought in the show, I don't know if you knew, but the voice actor for Joel was in the show.
Yeah. He played that guy. I forgot his name, because he's like
pretty much the second-hand man.
Yeah.
To whatever her name is. Now these are slipping me. You put me on the spot. But you know who I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you guys, if you guys saw the show or if you keep up with it, you know, you'll know. But he played that second-hand guy. Anyway, I know it's from voice to physically acting, but if you had told me, or if you tell someone that's the voice actor for Joel, I feel like it just doesn't fit Joel, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Who Joel is as a character, a fictional character, that guy doesn't fit. But if you told me Pedro, you know, voice acted him, I would 100% believe it more. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's just the way I saw it, like the way it fit into the character. And I don't know, that's something that just came across my mind, that it even though I knew this was the voice actor for it, it's like I felt like it was wrong for him to be the voice actor. And it's like, oh, it should have been Pedro this whole time. Like, why didn't we ever cast Pedro to be a voice actor? But I don't know, that's something that just like came up to my mind when I found out that he was going to be in the show and who he was.
Do you know the voice actor for Joel almost was not the voice actor? I was seeing an interview with him, and like, long story short, I mean, I forgot the little details, but basically his agent had called him saying, hey, you know, I have this audition lined up for you. It's about this game idea that they're having. They just need you to voice it and all that. And at that time, he described himself as having like short, kind of like spiky hair. Like, he just, like what you picture Joel now, he was the complete opposite from it. And so he was like, okay, whatever, I'll go. He went into the audition site, saw everyone else kind of like cowboyed up and, you know, just kind of like what you envision Joel as. And he was like, oh, like, I'm not going to get this role. I don't look like everyone here. I'm going to do a bad job. And he had said as like, he decided to turn around, and as he was turning the knob to the door to leave, that's when the audition person came out and said, oh, what's his name? I forgot his name. The actual actor, or the voice actor who voices Joel.
His name slips me.
I forgot his name, but basically they called him, and he said, oh yeah, that's me. So he goes in, he's like, okay, I'm just gonna try my best. And he left thinking that he didn't get it, and he actually ended up getting it. So he was literally...
Like he killed the audition.
Yeah, he was literally a couple steps away from his life never being what it is now. Which is crazy to think about.
I feel like that's kind of crazy because you mentioned that he went in there like this, the way he was described, the character Joel. Mm-hmm. Like when you say spiky hair, I feel like that's kind of like a clean cut. Like someone who takes time to style their hair, I picture a clean cut, not living in a post-apocalyptic world is what I envision just by those words. So
his name's Troy Baker, by the way. I remembered.
Oh, Troy. Okay, we got a quick reference check. Quick reference check.
Yes, it's Troy Baker. My bad.
Troy Baker.
If he ever listens to this, I'm so sorry I forgot your name. I love your work.
Yes. And for all those who don't even know what we were talking about up to this point, Troy Baker, look it up. He was in the show, actual show, voice acted for Joel in the game, but he was in the show, not as Joel though. Mm-hmm. He was that second-hand man.
He's like a side character.
Yes, to whatever her name.
Marlene did the same thing too. The girl that voiced Marlene.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The actual actress was in there, and then I don't want to spoil anything, but
if you haven't seen it at this point, I mean,
what have you been doing?
What are you doing? You're either like invested in work, which you shouldn't be, or I don't know, because I'm just not a bum and I watch TV. So
just get the free trial. Watch the show. It's already all out.
What
you can binge it.
8 episodes, I think.
8 or 9, one of those.
It's not. It's an hour each. It's good. It flies by. You can knock it out
on
in
a
Saturday.
Day. Yeah.
In a day. In a weekend. Watch 4 one weekend, 5 the next. I don't know how many episodes is it. Half and half. Split it. You can watch it. So if you're hearing this and you haven't seen it, your biggest concern should be, what are you doing with your life? Not that we spoiled it. That's the biggest concern here.
Well, like, spoiler alert, cover your ears if you haven't watched it or anything like that.
Take off your headphones.
Take off your headphones. Whatever you're listening to it, just mute us for a couple seconds, but starting now. Okay, so Ellie's mom, the one she comes out on the show as Ellie's mom. I don't know if you caught that at the last episode. Mm-hmm. She was the actress that actually voiced Ellie. And Sam didn't know that. I had to keep pointing her out. Sam's my wife, by the way.
I was about to say, you got to key him in on this.
Sam's my wife. But Sam, she didn't, I mean, obviously she doesn't play the game or anything. She's seen me play it, but she doesn't know who everyone is. So I had to be pointing out who's who. And when Ellie's voice actress came out, I started tripping out. I was like, oh, that's her. I started getting super excited.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's
which is let's kind of build on that. Not so much who she is, but how Ellie kind of became immune. So again, if you haven't seen the show, go watch it or don't listen to this segment, but she got bit while pregnant. And a little bit of was it toxin, I guess? The fungus, right? I say toxin because it's in your blood, you know what I mean? So a little bit of that got into what is now Ellie, but just enough where it created an immunity, not infection.
It mutated in her and just changed its whole thing.
She figured they figured out the hacks, the XXYY
3 cheat codes. They got the cheat codes.
They got the cheat codes. So if I'm Marlene, who was there, who clapped her friend, right? But if you're Marlene years later,
I'd clap you, by the way.
Say less. We're gonna have to take a break, quick 5-minute for business purposes. But if you're Marlene and you realize years later down the line, hey, Ellie's immune, right? And it's because of this. And let's be honest, Marlene knows. Like, even in the moment, she's skeptical. On the show, she's like, no, like, that baby's infected, you were bit. And then obviously Ellie's mom in the show is saying, no, I cut the umbilical cord. I had her before I got bit,
Yeah.
She's good. But Marlene's still skeptical, right? And then later down the line in life, a decade later, 13, 14 years later, when Ellie does get bit and they realize, hey, she's not turning, as Marlene, you're like, well, because you know what? It was that day. Now, since you know the hacks, you need to tell this to everyone. You figured out
just
the
replicate it.
Yeah.
You see, and I thought the same thing though, but you're asking people to like risk their life for like a maybe, you know, like a sliver of a chance.
People be fucking anyway.
I mean, but like if you time it wrong, like you get bit and you don't have the baby in time, like there's a lot that can just go wrong. You get infected, your baby gets infected, and then you're just done.
Well, look,
you know?
And there's certain situations where you could test this theory if people are gonna get bit. You know what I'm saying? Like if there's a situation where it's inevitable and you're watching this, be like, hey guys, if you're out there, by the way, and you're pregnant, by the way, and you're getting chased down by zombies, hey, and you get bit, just go ahead and pop that baby out, because obviously that's how it works. You can just choose when your baby comes out of you. So just pop the baby out. But time it right so that way your baby's immune, and it will just keep making immune babies. So it's very simple. It's not a very hard concept to grasp. We need to spread this worldwide, obviously.
Well, you know what? That's a good plan. That's a good plan. Or like, what if? And obviously, they can't force Ellie to do this, right? But like, once she becomes like of age, and it's part of her DNA already. So like, if she were to have kids, like, would her kids have the immunity? You know,
we'll see.
I feel like it would become genetic at some point. Like,
well, that's what I was going to ask. Right now, is it genetic? I don't know.
At some point, because she's immune to it now, and your parents' immunity kind of gets passed down to you. I'm not a mathematician or anything, but I'm pretty sure that's how that works. Like, your parents' immunity gets passed down to you.
Of the start of the immunity, when she was a baby, and her mom got bit. And it was like transferred to her. That was all by like blood, or I don't know, whatever.
Right. Well, that wasn't genetic, obviously.
Right at that point. So I guess my question is, at what point in Ellie's life did it become genetic, or is it going to be genetic, or is it a blood thing?
I think at this point she's already. I think in the show she's like 13, 14 years old. I think she's 13. That many years, it kind of just becomes part of you. And again, I'm not saying like her first kid would be automatically immune, but like a couple of generations down, like that immunity, I would think, has to be passed down at some point.
So basically,
I feel like it would have to become part of your DNA.
They need to tell Ellie to make babies.
I guess, but like I said, obviously they can't force her, but like if she were willing to try one or whatever, and
try one baby.
Yeah, I guess, and then see what happens. The only thing is, like, how would you test that immunity? The only way to know is exactly. And you're asking her to pretty much sacrifice her child.
Just go get bit real quick. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, and just tell the fungus to stop if you don't want to get infected.
Do you think they've tried that? Just
asking nicely.
Just don't. Like when the clickers are chasing them, like, hey, stop. Exactly. Like,
I never heard a please once in the show.
It's all about consent. So if you told it no, it wouldn't do it.
The clicker would know.
They would all know. More than the clickers, they would all know.
Exactly.
Like that big old one that comes out in the episode.
Oh, the bloater?
The bloater, the big boom.
Yeah.
In the freaking manhole they created.
That whole scene
was wild.
It was amazing.
Let's talk about that.
I was dripping, not gonna lie.
Pause. What do you mean? What do you mean by that? So let's talk about that, right? In the show, there comes a point where they're chasing Joel and they're chasing Ellie and whatever his name is. I forget all the characters' names now.
Who?
Where they're chasing him through the neighborhood.
Oh, Ellie, Joel, oh my God.
And the brothers.
The brothers, yeah.
The brothers.
The names are going to come to me super random.
Yes. You wait for it in about 2 minutes in the episode. Eric will get it for us. When they're chasing them, there comes that scene where there's a manhole essentially created under one of the houses. And then out comes, literally probably like 1,000, 2,000 or something insane. It looked like a lot.
Yeah.
A couple thousand.
1,000?
I would say 1,000.
You think so? I guess.
I wouldn't go as far as...
A couple hundred.
I wouldn't go as far as more than 1,000 or maybe more than two stretching it. Mm-hmm. I'd say for sure there was at least 1,000.
I can see that. Okay.
They're all coming out rushing them, right? Cool, whatever, right? They're mowing them down, all these dudes, they're mowing them down, right? Mm-hmm. Now, in the show, that guy that plays the voice actor of Joel. What did you say his name was?
Troy Baker.
Troy Baker in The Last of Us, right? He's decides to be a hero for whatever reason and take on the bloater. Do you remember that?
Oh no, you're thinking of okay. So Troy Baker was someone else.
So I thought Troy Baker was
Troy Baker. So okay, so you're thinking about the guy with like the white hairs and long hair
and the beard.
He voiced Tommy. In The Last of Us, he voiced Tommy, Joel's brother.
You're right.
And Troy Baker voiced actually Joel, but Troy Baker was in the show. He just played like a smaller side character for that, like the religious cult place.
You're absolutely right.
I mean, if you're listening to this at this point, I mean, you don't care about spoilers. But the cannibals,
right?
The cannibal. He played that small character. I forgot his name, but yeah,
you're right. I did get him mixed up. You're right.
Yeah.
But okay, then back to my point.
Yeah.
Why would you be hero in that situation when you didn't need to be? You could have.
He thought he was him.
But see, the thing is, you could have just ran. You could have just ran away.
I mean, but if it was me though, I'm just saying, if it was me, I could have taken on that bloater.
You think so? So fun fact, if you guys didn't know, Eric here is him. So when you go into the Webster dictionary and look up him, it's just a picture of Eric.
Absolutely. 100%.
He's that guy.
I mean, obviously I've taken on a couple bloaters in the game. I can do it in real life.
Sir, we don't call women that, sir. That's your past life. You're married now. Just for the lulz. Funny. Just for the lulz. So if you lived in that TLOU, The Last of Us verse, do you think you could survive?
That universe? Man, that's a tough one. If it was like Walking Dead, I mean, we've talked about this before, but like if it's like Walking Dead universe, yeah, because those zombies are slow as hell.
The Walking Dead zombies are a bunch of Canucks. They're a bunch of dummies. Like
they're dragging their feet. And the only way you're gonna get screwed is if you get swarmed. You know, you get outnumbered. But if you take on a couple at a time, it's doable. But The Last of Us, they're very fast, and they have those like special zombies. They got bloaters, clickers. And then in the game also, they didn't show it in the show, but they have like hunters, I believe they're called. Like, those are the super quiet ones.
Those clouds of fungus where you breathe it in.
Yeah, the spores.
There you go.
So I mean, it's a very different ball game. In the Last of Us universe, I give myself a 60% chance of survival.
60%?
60.
Okay, so
that's me being humble too.
Here's like three like zombie, apocalyptic verses I think of, right? Including Last of Us. Because The Last of Us, you have like, it's like the mods. You have the modded zombies, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Then you got the Walking Dead, who are, I don't want to say realistic, because what is a realistic zombie? Right? What is that? But I would say the more natural, normal zombie. Yeah. What people think of.
Yeah.
Just a slow, brain dead zombie, right?
Yeah.
And then the third one I think of, and I don't even know if they're zombies. I think they're vampires, if I read it correctly, are the ones from I Am Legend.
Oh, those things, the sunlight kind of burns them?
Yeah, but I don't know if they're actually...
I don't think they're vampires. They're a mix of like humans and zombies.
They're mutts.
I guess.
It's a mutt.
They're still kind of partially human, but like they are infected with something.
Right.
If I remember the storyline correctly. I mean, I haven't watched the movie in forever. But I
remember reading up on it, and I could have sworn like the word vampire was thrown in.
It could be because
just because of the sunlight thing.
Sunlight messes them up. So I mean, I guess we can call them vampires by our current definition. But what do you call it? I Am Legend zombies, vampire things. Those I'm giving myself like a 40% chance.
Swear. Okay, so I'm gonna go down the line. Right. Here's my chances for all three, and then you need to do the Walking Dead one. You haven't done that one. So I'm gonna do the Walking Dead first. My chances of survival. I'm gonna say 90, and the 10% is only if someone causes me to die. Like if it's because somebody else's human fault, like a human someone else, is their reason I'm dead. Like let's say you and I were teaming up, right? We're homies. But you decide to bear trap me, you know what I mean? And I'm stuck in a bear trap.
Yeah.
And then a zombie eats me.
Yeah.
That's because your fault. You decided to turn your back on me. But if it's me in the world, solo, dude, that's an easy 100.
It's an easy dub.
100% dub, dude. Like, I'm talking like nail bat. I'm just bashing heads. You know what I mean? Like, those guys are dumb.
Yeah.
In The Walking Dead, I stopped watching after a little while, but it turned to the point where it's like you were more likely to die from a human, like gang, than you are from a zombie.
Yeah.
So
I think that's natural, though. I think that's kind of, there's some truth to that, because at some point, I mean, you just get so used to the zombies.
Right.
And
their tactics don't really change.
Yeah,
They're not
it's
smart.
a
So if you
humans.
learn how to adapt to the zombies, it's easier to adapt to them than to adapt to the gangs, growing
'cause
gangs.
Humans
Kind
are just unpredictable, but the zombies, they're predictable.
right. To an extent.
Yeah, at least in that universe.
In the Walking Dead universe.
Yeah.
Now I'm going down to The Last of Us. I'd give myself like 60. I'd give myself 60, and because of the modded zombies, if it wasn't for the modded zombies, I mean, I guess then they're all being natural, right? But also another thing you have to think of is that in the Last of Us universe, it's like a fungus, right? Mm-hmm. And so the fungus is a lot smarter than the zombies or whatever is infected in The Walking Dead. The Walking Dead is purely like a parasite, I think, if I'm not mistaken. And you just get bit, basically bit or scratched or something, and you're done. But in The Last of Us, it's a fungus that like learns. It's smart, you know what I mean? So it can take over.
They're all connected too. I don't know if you caught that.
Exactly.
In the show.
So
you kill one, other ones are gonna feel it. They're gonna know where you are.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it like grows in the ground and can feel it for like miles.
It also grows in the food. I don't know if you had caught that.
Yes.
Like it grows in like the flour. At least in the show. In the game, they didn't really touch on it, but in the show, it grows into the food, and that's why in the show you don't see people eating bread or anything like that. And I don't know if you had noticed, but only I think it was in the second episode, Ellie was eating a sandwich, and Joel couldn't have any because it's bread. But she's immune.
And I think she made a comment on that too, didn't she?
I think so. She might have.
She's like, "Oh, no, I'm fine," or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know. I forgot what I'm pretty sure she made a comment on that. But I knew that part. Which is another. It's harder to survive in that world. There's a lot of. It's smart. It's as smart as you. You know what I mean? You got to be cautious. You're walking on eggshells.
Yeah.
Now I'm down to the I Am Legend, Will Smith zombies, vampires, or zombies, right? Those dudes are fast. They're insanely fast. And
I'm faster.
You're him.
I'm speed.
Okay, Lightning McQueen. Those dudes are strong and fast. Like, quite literally built different. You know what I mean? And so the only time you're almost 100% safe is in broad, unblocked daylight.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And even then, like that one boss dude, if you've seen the movie, he kind of steps into the sunlight and he's willing to get burned a little bit, but he like backs up because he's like, oh, I don't want to die.
Yeah.
So even then, some of them are willing to risk it because they're smart.
They're aware, exactly.
And they're smart because like that boss guy that stepped into the sunlight, he had his little wifey girlfriend thing, and he knew like, oh, that's my woman. You know what I mean? And you took her, even though Will Smith wasn't trying to kill her.
Yeah.
His brain isn't that advanced, but he's like, oh, you took her and she's mine. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So I'm gonna get her back.
So they're smart, they're fast, they're strong. The only advantage you have is weaponry and sunlight. And given weaponry, like let's say you got an AK, right? M4, whatever you choose, but it's just you. If 20 of those things are rushing at you, 10, I'll give you 10. If 10 of those things are rushing at you, I think you're done.
I don't know. I've gotten an ace in Rainbow Six, so I think I could take them.
I keep forgetting you're him. You are him.
No, I'm just playing. No, like I said, I think for the Will Smith, I Am Legend, infection, zombies, whatever you want to call them, and that's why I gave myself about a 40% chance. Only because, like zombies, they do have habits and they are kind of predictable. Like no sunlight, their scent is very strong. That's why Will Smith always. I don't know if it was like vinegar or bleach or something, but he always did something with some liquid to mask his scent. So, there's these little things you can pick up on, kind of outsmart them. You get to learn how they operate. And as long as you follow those rules, you'll be good.
Yeah.
But then, again, there's an unpredictable side where, like, you had their leader who's very smart, knew sunlight hurts him, and he knew when to time his attacks. So that's where the unpredictable part comes in. That's where my chances get lowered. Because if they were to find me, and if he wanted to kill me that bad, I mean, he'd be able to do it because they're tearing through steel and everything. You know, I'm not hiding from that unless I have like an underground bunker with, I don't know, like 6-inch steel doors or something, which obviously...
And like 2 points of entry.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
minimize your points of entry or exit, you know,
exactly.
whatever.
But like the likelihood of that happening is 0, you know.
I give myself probably 15.
15%?
I give myself a 15% chance.
Am I being too... Am I giving myself too much credit?
So like, I feel like it all depends. You know what I mean? It all depends on at the start of any like zombie apocalypse, right? Let's say in any of those verses, it all depends on how you start it.
Exactly. Yeah.
So like Will Smith, military dude, background, he's pretty smart in his tactics or whatever. He started, and I mean, I'm sure he progressed, right? He progressed where he is now. You know, he had it locked down. I'm sure he did upgrades, little kinks here and there, but he studied and he had this inside info of how these things were reacting at first. So he already had a baseline of, okay, you know, these guys don't like sunlight, or these guys, you know, block the doors, barricade everything. And he knew what to use, how to use it. So he already established a baseline. In like in the movie, he already knew what was happening, right? So he established that. But if you're a regular Joe Schmo, you know what I mean? You might not have accessibility.
Yeah.
And 2, you just won't know. Maybe you won't know how it is. You don't have that insider.
It's going to take a long time to get that insight.
Yeah. And by that point, especially like if you're in that universe, I think you're done.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying...
Well, it doesn't help that I think he lived like in New York. I could be wrong. I think it was New York.
I think it was New York, yes.
Well, we don't live in New York, so I mean, our chances... For us, I think it would be easier to get in a more rural area.
Right.
So, I mean, I don't know. I feel like our chances might be better than his.
So then, all that aside, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's say you got stuff between Walking Dead zombie and The Last of Us zombie. I say in between in the sense that, let's say the zombies are pretty dumb, right? Like The Walking Dead.
Yeah.
But there's a couple who are like fast. Not so much like bloaters or like clickers, but let's just say they're a little faster. Like they're a little smarter. Still super dumb, but they can like run full speed, let's say. You know what I mean? Nothing crazy, right? So let's say we got some normal, quote unquote, zombies. What are you doing first? Like, let's say, you know, it's a Tuesday and it's 2:00 and, you know, there's some government mass emergency system. This is not a test. I'm gonna have to wait till 5 because that's something I get out of work. Oh, he's got to clock out first. Priorities.
Yeah, priorities. I'm responsible.
You say, I still got to get that paycheck. That paycheck's got to come in.
I don't think my apartments are gonna take the excuse of, oh, there's a zombie apocalypse, I can't pay rent this month.
Actually, it's going to be a year into the apocalypse, and then you're going to get a letter that you have late fees because you didn't pay your rent.
Probably, honestly.
The way the economy is nowadays, inflation.
They're going to increase my rent.
Inflation, because they're going to be like, well, see, the way we're providing such a premium service to you. Most places don't have a roof. This place still has a roof because it hasn't crumbled down. So therefore, we're increasing your rent.
They're going to increase it, and then all that time that I'm not paying. Once there's a cure and everything dies down, I'm going to get a notice in the mail saying, hey, like you haven't paid for a couple years. Your bills were sent to collections. And
then the government is somehow still operational. Biden and Trump have teamed up actually, and they're running the government. And they're just processing collections and just sending out letters of, hey, you owe us, you owe us, you owe us. So you still got to pay. It's basically what we're trying to get at.
Yep. And then I'm going to clock in and just start working again.
Okay, so let's pretend you're not stupid.
Going back to what we're saying.
Okay, so 2:00 on a Taco Tuesday, right?
Okay.
And let's just say for background info, right? There's been a couple weeks, and you know, worldwide, there's been these cases of, you know, it always starts with like mad cow disease. I feel like that's the first thing, you know, this parasite that eats your brain.
Yeah.
So let's say there's already been that speculation, and then there's this mass, whatever they send that, you know, this is not a test on the radio, on the TV.
Just like the warning.
Yeah, whatever. And you hear the fucking sirens or whatever, right? And it says get indoors, have 2 weeks food supply, whatever they say. I feel like that's what they always say, have enough food, lock yourself in, we will come back when it's safe, or we're going to set up QZ zones in every city, wait for instructions, whatever, right? And it clicks to you. Let's just assume it does, right? Let's just say in this situation, everyone's accepting, this is the start of what we think is a zombie apocalypse, right? So you see that, right? 2:00 on a Tuesday, right? Let's say you're at the office.
Okay.
Right. So what do you do? What's your plan right now? And are you in, for reference, right? For everyone listening, Eric and his wife work together in the same building. It's just in the same building, not on the same team, but same building.
Yeah.
So what do you do now? What's like your what's your thought process? What are you doing? Walk me through the first.
Okay. I'm gonna go with Sam because
let's do the first 48. Let's do the first 48 hours.
48 hours. Okay. First thing I'm doing, I'm going to get Sam in her side of the building because she never checks her phone and she's not gonna know what's going on. So I'm gonna have to go drag her, get her to the car, heading home. Which I don't live too far from the office. And for everyone listening, I'm a gun owner and I do own a lot of firearms. So I'm going home, loading up all my guns, and then I'm texting you and everyone else, like all my other friends here in San Antonio, giving y'all a couple minutes to get to my place.
And just for reference, we've talked about this before, right? Briefly. I say briefly, but we've talked about this, and I've said I'm going to your place because, like you restating what you said, you have a lot of firearms.
Yeah,
and I feel like that's key. Aside from food. I feel like you can rate for food, right? Places. There's going to be a lot of places. We live in San Antonio, there's going to be a lot of places for food. Everyone's going to do it, but there's places, right?
Yeah.
But firearms, if you don't already have that, it's going to be tough. Yeah. And especially protecting yourself from both zombie and human. Yeah. So anyway, continue. I'm sorry.
So yeah, I'm hitting up all my friends that live here, and I'm letting them know you have X amount of minutes, depending on the severity, how bad things are, because I might need to leave quickly if things are really bad. If they're not bad, okay, take your time, get here safe, whatever. But bring all your food. We'll kind of pull everything together, see how much supplies we have, make sure everyone gets a gun. And then from there, we can all decide what the next best route is. But to me, I would want to go somewhere in the country, away from people. And then we can go like
away from the city.
Yeah, away from the city. And we can go loot, Dollar General out in the middle of nowhere, because the likelihood of that being completely ransacked is a lot less likely compared to in the big city, Right. So 48 hours, getting all my friends together, getting all my firearms together, all the food supplies that we can, driving somewhere out in the middle of the country, and then, just try to find a place to, camp. See if we can find...
Take it day by day.
Yeah.
At this point, let's say we don't know much. We don't know how is this spread? You know what I mean?
Exactly. We don't have any information.
Is it water? Is it in the birds? How? So it's like taking every precaution you can.
And I feel like that first week is going to be the toughest because people are, unfortunately, would still be dying. Information would be lacking. So we can survive that first week until we can kind of establish a little bit of a home base.
Kind of get our bearings.
Yeah. That's going to be kind of tough.
Yeah. So I think we're on the same page. So this is what I'm doing. And for reference, me and Eric are also in the same building for work, right? So we're going to go off assuming this is also still Taco Tuesday on a 2:00, right? So here's what I'm doing. I'm going to also assume that Steph, which is my fiance, right, is at her office, right? But let's say she's in San Antonio, her San Antonio office, right? Because she has another office.
It's kind of far.
We might have to go without her.
Sorry, Steph.
So let's say Steph is at her office, right? I'm at my office. First thing I do is immediately just leave work, obviously, right?
Yeah.
Get in my car. I'm gonna go pick up Steph, and just say, hey, get in. I do not care. Get in the car. Picking her up. And honestly, I want to say I have two routes in my mind that I'm going. One is straight home, going home, and I'm telling Steph on the way home, right? It's about 10 minutes from work to my house. So about 10 minutes, and that 10 minutes telling Steph pretty much the game plan. Like, this is not a joke. We are getting my dog, Wally. We're getting my corgi, right? Getting Walfredo. Get Wally, pack up his food, get any bottled water, any water you can, any perishable foods, really any food at this point, well, cans later down the road, but really any food. We're gonna need food all the time. So get any food, put it in bags. You get a backpack, get whatever backpack, fill it with some clothes, socks, underwear, pants. Pack light though. So I'm saying like,
only essentials. No,
like put on your jeans, pack one more pair of jeans, a few shorts, shirts, a couple jackets, but we're not taking the closet, one extra pair of shoes, put on another pair of running shoes or something comfortable, and a duffel bag. We'll put in some other stuff, some more clothes, you know what I mean? We'll share one more duffel bag, so we one backpack each, you know what I mean? You got 10 minutes.
And your PC? You got to take your PC.
So I'm making sure my PC is locked and loaded. My 2 dual monitors. In fact, I'm taking my whole desk. Everything's on with me. The PS4, everything. My Nintendo DS Lite, can't forget it. Mario Edition.
That was a flex. That's a big flex.
That's a big flex for all of you out there. No, so 10 minutes, right? You got 10 minutes. And that's like 10, I'll push it to 15 depending on, for whatever, right?
Yeah.
We got 10, 15 minutes to get our stuff, get essentials, and we're out the door. And I've said it before, right? I'm loading my car with as much as I can, and I'm driving to your place. For the sole reason is, one, you're my friend, obviously. I feel like strength in numbers,
right. Right.
We're better as 4 of us than I am 2 of us. You know what I mean? There's, it's just numbers, right? So 1, you're my friend, strength in numbers, but 2, you have the resources, right? The firearms you have as doubles, we have more food, more water, more stuff, right? Obviously more mouths to feed also, but
we'll also have probably other friends like Darren and Haley and
there you go. So
whoever else. You with Nate and we can all, the more the merrier,
Right. And so kind of like what you're basing off of, like, hey, you guys got 30 minutes, 45 really, like, get here. That's my first route that I would say to take. Second route I would say is once I pick up Steph, right? I hear the announcement. I'm getting Steph, picking her up. I'm honestly saying go to like a gas station and just gas up and just fill my
tank. If you can, hopefully.
Exactly. So it's very situational in the moment. I feel like that's what I would want to do first, because if everyone acts like I've talked about this. Everyone acts like people are going to go frenzy crazy, and they are. But no one's going to go frenzy crazy probably in the first 20 minutes.
Yeah.
They are to themselves at home, wherever they are. Yeah, everyone's going crazy. But you have probably 20 to 30 minutes, I feel, before, the roads are crazy. Yeah. Like actual
the
crazy.
Are packed. You can't
highways are basically shut down. You can't drive on them. Stores are starting to get like looted. You have that time frame. So a part of me wants to say, like, before that hits, I'm going to the gas station. I'm just pumping gas, filling up. If they got any like jugs, fill them up. Get the food. I ain't paying for it. Get the food. Go home and then continue to where I said, 15 minutes, do this, do that. We're out, go to Eric's, you know what I mean? That's what I would want to say. And then after that, kind of like you said, as a group, we decide. Now, there's also 2 sides of me that say, well, and it's situational at that point. Do we leave immediately?
Go to hunker down and
exactly. Do we leave right now? Which I would still want to do probably, but leave right now, or do we? Hey, hunker down. Let's just chill for 3 days. You know what I mean? Let
things die down.
Let things go crazy as they're gonna, and then they're still gonna be crazy after that. But the first, I feel like 72 hours is crucial. That's like everybody's going haywire.
Yeah.
Do we let it die down and then leave? Or do we leave now and hope for the best? And I feel like that question honestly depends on the resources we have now. Because if you're saying collectively we have the resources to last as a group, let's say there's 6 of us, as a group to last 2 weeks, I'm saying let's just go. You know what I mean? We got 2 weeks worth of provisions. Let's just get out of here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We can always, like I said, we can find food later. We can hunt or, whatever. But if we got like, hey, all of our food, water combined, we ration, we've got 4 days worth for whatever reason, we only have 4 days worth.
Right.
I'll be like, we should probably hunker down. You know what I mean?
Just try to salvage what we can or save what we can.
Yeah. And so that'd be intense. A part of me has always wanted a zombie apocalypse because that's kind of fun. In my mind, fun. It's fun until you get bit, right?
Right. Yeah. Right.
And it's not fun that people die. Don't get me wrong. And it's not fun when the world is collapsing. But a part of me is like always live this little fantasy. Playing
I think most of us do. Yeah, we do play video games. We consume a lot.
You've seen the movies.
Exactly.
And a part of you is like, dude, like that would be so cool.
I can do that.
Like I can do that, dude. You can just hunker down with your friends. I mean, go around with nails and bats and crowbars and that's just like
do what you got to do to survive.
Yeah, it's a little fantasy.
Yeah.
But that'd be pretty intense.
Yeah.
I would want it, but also wouldn't want it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But I think that would be like my first go-to plan. I think that's what I would want to do.
No, I completely agree with you. I'm on the same page.
And then I think about, well, you know what? I'm not from here originally. I got family 3 hours away. But at that point, it's like I'm not thinking about them because there's nothing I can do.
Exactly. 3 hours. Then that 3 hours is going to extend a lot more because like all the highways are going to be packed. Yeah. I'm sure there's going to be like military checkpoints.
There's pretty much one or two major highways between here and where we live.
Yeah.
Or our hometown.
Yeah.
Everyone, I mean, there's millions of people that are from there.
Exactly.
Or whatever, have family there, whatever. They're all going to want to go or come up or whatever.
It's just going to be a bad idea.
It's just not a good idea. And it's 3 hours, what am I doing in those 3 hours? And then once I get there, and it's just like, at that point, it's like, I can't think about what I can do for them. I can just try to survive now and hope they're okay.
Ooh, what about their World War Z zombies? I just remembered them right now. World War Z. I'm dropping my chances down.
I'm glad you brought that up, and we'll kind of finish on this one. This will be our last one, right? But that's what I didn't think about that. That's a good one. Great movie, by the way. If you haven't seen it, if you haven't seen anything that we're talking about, just go watch it. It's okay. We will lose the viewer, but you can come back and just go watch everything we've talked about, all those movies, all the shows. But if it's like World War Z, that was kind of what I was trying to say in between Walking Dead and The Last of Us. I feel like those are kind of in between because they're dead, obviously, right? But they're like stupid, kind of. The thing about them is, though, they're fast.
Yeah,
they're fast.
Super fast.
They're super
fast.
Swarm
you.
Right, exactly. But that's really their only strength, quote unquote, right? They don't have anything bloaters. They don't have
anything crazy.
Crazy, kind of like The Last of Us.
Their speed and their numbers.
Right, their speed, exactly. And so it's. I mean, arguments can go, it's not as bad as The Last of Us. It kind of is, it isn't, but it's definitely worse than The Walking Dead.
Yeah.
So if it's those,
I drop my chances. I'm dropping my chances for those like 20%.
I'm less than The Walking Dead, which was for me, what, 70? I don't know what I said.
The Walking Dead, you said 90.
90. I did.
Yeah, you said 90.
No, I said that for The Walking Dead. Oh, yeah, you're right. No, I'm saying The Last of Us. I'm sorry.
The Last of Us. I forgot what you said for The Last of Us.
I think I said 70 or 60. I think I said 60.
I think 60.
I think I'm less than 60, but I'm more than the I Am Legend.
Really?
Yeah.
I can see that, yeah.
Because, well, they're both fast, right? But I think that the ones in World War Z are still pretty dumb. They're still dumb.
They kind of are. I mean, their only weakness is, I mean, if you're sick or you have some sort of disability, like you're not a perfect human.
Exactly.
Then you're good.
And since I've had chlamydia like 3 times, I think it's in me and it's made its statement. You know what I mean?
Well, see, that's a hard part for me because I'm perfect. So they're gonna want me. I'm their
dude. You're like a prime meal.
Exactly.
You're that Wagyu grade 5 steak, dog. They want you.
It's gonna be tough. I'm not gonna lie.
For you.
Yeah, for me. Everyone else is okay. Honestly, I think with me just existing, everyone else is safe. They're gonna be after me.
Well, see, that's you heard it.
Obviously, I'm humble.
You heard it here, folks. You heard it here. This guy, bro. He's him. As I've said, he is him.
Nah, I think I would drop my chances down significantly for those, only because of their numbers and their speed.
I think I'd be at 40.
honestly, I'd be kind of sad if like we got swarmed and they just went around me. I'm like, damn, something's wrong with me.
Okay, yeah, right. So let's say you're presuming, you're presuming, right, that you're a healthy human being, right, other than your high blood sugar or something. You know what I mean? It's something stupid. They don't know that.
Yeah.
But let's say you assume you're healthy, and then you're like, you're running, right? You're running, and they're catching up to you. You get cornered, and then they go around you, and you're like,
Start crying.
you're like, wait,
What?
Do I have cancer?
Am I sick? And like, I don't know. Like, you just got diagnosed.
You don't know with what, but you just got diagnosed.
Yeah, it's not good.
Yeah, that was your answer right there. So, good luck. There's no doctors anymore, at least not near you, hopefully.
Yeah.
But that's crazy. But that is their weakness. That's a way to survive. But I mean, they didn't know that until Brad Pitt went and found out.
Yeah. So I mean, that'd be the only tough part. I mean, you just kind of get lucky or unlucky, however you want to see it.
Right.
You just kind of discover that. But then how would you even make that connection?
Exactly. You wouldn't
just think like, am I infected?
Unless Brad Pitt tells the world, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. He's Brad Pitt. He can do anything.
That's actual
He's
facts.
a man.
That, honestly, I mean, him or Ryan Reynolds?
They're both
men. Fine specimen. What I aspire to be. But all right, I think we'll wrap it there.
I think that's a good spot to end.
We rambled on about zombies and surviving. Realistically, me and Eric are making it a cool 36 hours
before we die.
I'm gonna get trapped somewhere. Eric's gonna run out of breath after 40 yards.
Doing me dirty.
We're pretty done. You know what I mean? Steph, she ain't the fastest. I gotta wait for her.
Hey, I just gotta be faster than the slowest person.
I'm saying you don't gotta be the fastest. You just gotta be faster than someone.
Exactly.
So, with that being said, actually, I might survive longer. I'm faster than some people. But all right, we'll cut the show there. Yeah. I think that's it for today.
Yeah, hopefully you guys got some entertainment out of listening to us just ramble. And hopefully you listen in next time. And I don't know, next time I kind of want to talk about The Purge.
Oh,
like how we would react in that. And this podcast isn't going to be about stuff like that. It's just whatever comes to mind.
Right. It's as the name suggests, it's definitely random. We're just every week something new, whatever comes to our mind. It just so happened that we started talking about zombies.
Exactly.
And if you want, we can talk about Purge next. But surviving right now, it seems to be our first
thing.
We'll go straight away from that later. Yeah. But it's been an honor. I hope y'all come back next time. Eric, any final regards to our audience?
I hope you guys just enjoyed listening to us as much as we enjoyed making this episode. And yeah, again, just to reiterate, I hope you guys catch us next time.
All right. Stay chunky, stay dunky. See y'all later.